Here at What Culture Gaming, we've already discussed games that mock you for playing on easy mode, but what happens if you take it a step further? What if you just outright cheat to win at your favourite video games? Well, sometimes the developers don't take too kindly to that. Sometimes they're going to punish you for your sins because the customer isn't always right. So I'm Joe Hendry from What Culture, and here are 10 console games that punished you for cheating. First up on our list, it's Banjo-Kazooie for the N64, and if you try to cheat in this game, it will give you a warning asking you to reconsider. If you ignore that, it will give you another warning, but if you ignore the third and final warning, what will happen is you will get a message informing you that the game has decided to punish you by erasing your game save, meaning you will have to start all over again from the very beginning. Up next for the PlayStation, it's Tomb Raider 2. Now, some of you might remember from the original installment of Tomb Raider, there was a handy cheat code that gives you all the weapons in the game fully loaded. However, if you try the same cheat, if you try that nonsense with Tomb Raider 2, Lara will simply explode into bits and then once again into balls of fire. Up next for the Xbox 360, it's Superman Returns, and who would need to cheat in this game? Superman's already the most overpowered superhero in history. Why would you need to cheat? Well, this is exactly the viewpoint that the game developers take as well, because if you try to cheat in this game, you will earn an achievement Not So Super worth 0 points, and it will also prevent you from getting any more achievements in the game ever, so don't even think about it. Up next, we've got The Lion King for the Sega Genesis or Mega Drive. Now, this one's a little bit more understandable because, especially for a Disney game, this is outrageously difficult, so we understand why you'd want to make use of the cheat menu with the level select. However, beware, because if you decide to use the level select, once you successfully complete whichever level you've selected, you will automatically be taken back to level 2 of the game, which incidentally is the hardest one. Up next, we've got one that spans many consoles. It's the iconic Konami code. Now, we featured this in our most satisfying cheat codes list because, well, using it is very satisfying for most of the games that it's in. However, sometimes Konami just want to remind you that maybe you should rely on your skills rather than this epic code. So in Gradius 3, what they decided to do is whenever you implement this code, it will just straight up destroy your craft. And also, it should be noted that in Super Monkey Ball Jr., if you try to use the Konami code, it appears with the message "Super nice try," because it's not even a Konami game, you idiot. Moving on, we've got Super Mario Bros. 2, or as we know it, Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels, because this game was originally meant to be the sequel to the original Super Mario Bros., but it was deemed too difficult for European and American markets. So instead, what we got for the Europe and American market was Doki Doki Panic, reskinned with Mario characters. But if you're bold enough to go back and try and beat the Lost Levels, beware. Don't be using those pipes that you know and love from the original that can teleport you to further points in the game, because some of the teleportation pipes in the Lost Levels will actually put you to earlier points in the game, meaning you'll have to replay the bits that you've already done. Up next is the Grand Theft Auto series spanning many consoles, and as we all know, cheats are outrageously fun in Grand Theft Auto, but be careful not to use it to progress yourself through the game trying to get that 100%, because if you save the game after cheating, you will never be able to get 100%. No matter how many missions you do, no matter how many secret packages you get, you can explore every nook and cranny, but it just won't matter. And perhaps most painful is Vice City, because you'll never get that 100% or the stupid t-shirt to prove it. Up next, it's the Game Boy Classic, The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. Now, in this game, you can actually steal items from the shop when the shopkeeper isn't looking, but beware, if the shopkeeper catches you, you will be renamed Thief in capital letters for the remainder of the game, and hopefully that's lesson enough, but it isn't for some people, because if you try it again, he will straight up kill you in cold blood. Up next, it's Animal Crossing Wild World for the DS, and in this game, if you try to reset the game multiple times after things just don't quite go your way and go back to your original save file, the game can recognize it, and it definitely doesn't like it. Eventually, you'll be called out on your rudeness, politely at first, but repeat offenders will be subjected to constant nagging, and eventually you'll have to submit a typed apology to make it go away, much like a disgraced politician. And perhaps the worst punishment of all time for cheating in a console video game has to come from Donkey Kong 64, because if you're trying to be clever and use a Game Shark to get past difficult parts in the game, do not save your game, because if you do, the game is effectively ruined ruined. The glitches are overwhelming, your health is constantly low, and the cartridge itself is permanently damaged. If you cheat, the game will kill itself. So, the moral of the story is just don't cheat in your console video games. We hope here at What Culture Gaming we've helped you to make good moral decisions when it comes to not cheating in video games. I've been Joe Hendry, and if you want to follow me on Twitter, please do. It's at Joe S. Hendry. Please make sure you like, share, and subscribe. We hope you enjoyed the video, and we shall see you next time.